Hi, Madhu. How are you?
Good, Zarine. What about you?
Good, good. All right. So I guess, do you want to introduce yourself as to who you are, what you do, and why this is such a passionate topic for you?
Yeah, so, I'm Madhu and I'm on the spiritual path since from childhood, but the actual journey started in 2006, so it's been more than 15 years. I'm into practice of yoga, basically the holistic lifestyle yoga, meditations, chanting, chakra cleansing. So, and specifically in this pandemic, everyone is facing a lot of turmoil in their life. So many people have lost their loved one. So it's a good thing that we are organizing this mental hygiene program so that we should or we shall be in touch with our main source, which is the soul, which is the essential part of this universe, the most essential part, I would say.
Yes. So thank you again for joining us. I'll introduce the audience to myself as well. My name is Zarine Barda. I am the founder of The Belly and Beyond, where we integrate yoga, holistic health, mindset, nutrition, essential oils, and divine healing as well, all into this beautiful life of motherhood. And we hope each of you will join us on this journey. So, as we begin, can you explain a little bit more about the nature of the mind and how the mind actually works?
Yeah, so see, when we learn anything in school, whether it's science or maths, but no one is teaching like how should we control our emotions or specifically the negative emotions or control or letting go is the right word. So for that we should understand the nature of the mind. So the nature of the mind is basically a lot of thoughts are coming. The thoughts are coming. Uh, so specifically in a day, 70,000 thoughts comes in our mind. And when they are repetitive, that becomes the overthinking pattern, or you can say that becomes the worry. So when it is becoming the overthinking and then the anxiety is there in your mind, these are the small things, which is knowingly or unknowingly we are facing in our life. The second tendency of the mind is that the mind never stays in the present moment. It is working like a pendulum, so it is going in the past, it is going in the future. So so when it is not staying in the present moment, that's why the mistakes happens. So for that we need to train our mind. It is not very difficult, like we train ourselves in music, or we train ourselves for painting, or we train ourselves in anything in the life. So we train, we practice. So for mind also we need that the same thing. And when it is there, when the lot of thoughts are coming, so for that thoughts the correspondence is happening in our hearts, then the feelings are generating, the lot of emotions are coming. And because of certain thoughts, so we are facing maybe anger, jealousy, possessiveness, or maybe some joyful moment also, depending upon the thoughts. So this is the basic tendency of the mind. And the another thing which is very important, the mind never cling on the positive aspect. It always cling on the negative. It always doubt. Oh, is it? Is it really? If someone is saying, I really love you. So you always ask him or her, do you really love me? Really? So see, this is how the mind is working. And the heart is totally opposite. Heart is always believe, believe. So this is a beautiful journey when you are learning the mindfulness. So slowly from the mindfulness, you should come to the heartfulness. Because life is a beautiful combination between the mindfulness and the heartfulness.
Yeah, that's so important because I think people have been told so many times over and over again, follow your mind, don't listen to your heart. You have to like, but now it's like you're telling us that we need to start going back and following our heart because our heart and our gut are like basically combined together to basically be able to follow our gut instincts, lead with our heart. And that's where in society right now, that's needed, absolutely needed for more people to be leading with their hearts, because I think that's something that we're missing out on. So, are there any tips that you have that they can integrate that mindfulness for that nature of mind in their day to day lives?
Yeah, so the basic key for the mind, if you want to stay in the present moment, just observe your breath. You are inhaling the breath and exhaling the breath. Just become aware about the breath. You will automatically be in the present moment. And for example, if you're facing too much anger or too much overthinking or too much anxiety is happening, feel the sensation in the physical body. Feel the breath. How the is it breath the shallow or to the palpitation is happening? Just observe all these sensations, then you will be automatically in the present moment. So this is how the mindfulness we should practice. For example, if you're working in a kitchen, you're washing dishes, just observe how you're washing, how the water is flowing, so all these things, becomes the mindfulness. And if you're going for a morning walk, just observe how your physical body is moving, how you're taking the step. Each step becomes the mindfulness.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And I think it applies to everyone because I know, like, even for example, for my kids, when I know automatically as soon as they get like anxious or they get overexcited, ask them, okay, just place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, like start listening to your breath. And like eventually they will. And then they'll start listening to their breath, they'll hear their breathing, and it'll calm them down. And that's with anyone and everyone, no matter what your age is. I think even people that are facing like anxiety attacks, automatically, because your heart starts palpitating so much faster. So as soon as you take the time to come back to your breath, you're automatically slowing it down, starting to feel that soothing. And it's so important. So I think that's something that we don't always think of, is the breath that is within us, that we have the power of being able to control and being so mindful about. So that's a great tip. Thank you for sharing that. And that can be used like in stressful situations or in any type of situation, pretty much. And no matter where you are, because your breath is there always. So wherever you are, it's something that you always have. Do you have any? Mhm.
So you don't need anyone to guide you. So breath is the main key factor in your life. See, when you have come in this universe, the first act you have taken the breath. The last act you are doing, you're leaving the breath. So you're going to the universe again. So
Yeah.
breath is the most important key in our life.
Absolutely. And then can you explain also to the listeners what a mindful practice and how they can practice that on a daily basis? Like you mentioned, when they're going for walks, when they're doing dishes. What about, like, are there any other approaches that they should be able to do in order for them to start integrating it into their lives on a daily basis? So that way they're either journaling or tracking how mindful they're actually becoming, so that way they're able to also maybe track their progress in a way.
So what they can do, so every day, whatever is time suitable, maybe in the morning or in the evening, so they can sit, they can close their eyes, they should observe first of all the breathing pattern in their physical level, then they should be observing the sensation in each body part through the breath. So they are taking the attention on the each body part. For example, they are starting maybe from the forehead area, then the facial, then the chest area, both the shoulders, stomach region, genitals, thighs, knee, legs, and the foot area. So this is the physical dimension we are taking the attention through the breath. So this is the physical mindfulness. It's happening automatically, whether we are observing or not. And the
Yes.
second thing, through the breath, they can observe how the thoughts are coming. So if the thoughts are coming, that's the nature of the mind. If we are resisting the thought, we are becoming stuck in the thought. So that's not going to be the mindfulness meditation. So thoughts are coming and going, whether they are good thoughts or bad thoughts. So don't resist, don't hold it, don't don't stuck it, and then you should observe from the thoughts how the feelings are arising. We have to observe and let it go. Observe and let it go. And another tip we can, you have asked me how we should track. So every day we should write the emotional journal, maybe in the morning, early morning, or in the evening, or before the sleep. You should write uh, how was your day today, what kind of emotions you have facing, what botherations are coming again and again, and how you are solving those problems, so resolving those acts of life. So these are the tips. This is how you can track your things. The writing is extremely important. Writing is the another method to let go the anxiety and the frustrations, the negative emotions.
Yeah, I think that's so important because I think there's something with putting the pen to the paper that allows us to release those thoughts. And then you'd also mention with meditations, a lot of the questions that I also get is when people start meditations, they're like, but my thoughts are constantly going in. I think they have to put aside that try not to not have any thoughts. They should allow them, because the longer they try to push them away, the more they're going to come in. So it's good for them to allow them, acknowledge them, and even if they need to, write it down on a paper and then come back to the meditation, because the thoughts are there for a reason, that they need to address them and put them aside afterwards. But I think just trying to ignore them is not the way to be able to move forward throughout the meditation. So that was a very good point. And then I guess for any of our listeners, either that are going to be listening to the live or watching the replay afterwards, because we'll have it in a few different locations, please do comment below if you do have a mindfulness practice, as well as share one way that you have found it to be beneficial. One of the biggest things for myself that I have found is that writing, journaling is a big thing that I've been doing. And I find if I'm going through a stressful situation, journaling is probably one of the biggest ways that maybe it's something that I can't share with the world yet, but it's something that I'm able to process and keep for myself and allow it to basically come out to the universe. Because I think when you're opening up your problems and putting them out to the universe, solutions will come. So I think that's like one of the biggest things and one of the biggest benefits that I have found is just being able to do that, and either doing that before I go to bed or whenever I have time. So with all of your knowledge that you've been sharing with us, can you share some more tips that you have on how we can clear and empty some of the negative emotions that we may be having?
So there is a beautiful technique which is called Osage Japanese technique, which I follow it very oftenly. In this technique, the first step is to write down all the problems, all the botherations, whether it is with the situation or with the people, with your boss, with your any family member. Just write it down. Maybe if you're filling the diary, doesn't matter. Just write it down. And then you will be observing when you're writing down, the half of the problem is created by your mind only. So the mind is very tricky. The mind will blame the other person, and if you are not blaming the other person, then you will blame yourself. Oh, why this is happening with me? Why this is, Then the ego factor is coming. So you have to dissolve. What is the opposite of the ego? Is the love. The ego is dissolving in the love when you are writing every day. So you are thinking, you are using the sharpness of your intellect level and you are discriminating all the unwanted thoughts, all the things which the mind has created, which even not even existing in your real life, but your mind has created that thoughts or that illusions in your day-to-day life. So the first step is writing down the journal, and then the first step for emotional hygiene is to forgive them, the first step, and forgive yourself. So the mistakes are the part of our life. Mistakes are happening from the other person and from ourselves also. So the first thing for the emotional hygiene is supreme important if you want to walk on the mindfulness path or the self-realization path, or you want to be a happy or a peaceful human being. So the first thing is forgiveness. The second thing is compassion. So be compassionate, be kind towards your physical self, mental level, and for others. And the third thing is the humility. And the fourth thing is to remind yourself again and again, discipline of the mind. Forgiveness, compassion, humility, and the discipline of the mind. These are the four factors of the Osaji Japanese technique, which one should follow every day. You should remind every day. And with the practice, it will become your nature.
Mhm. That's so beautiful. I think that's so important, and it's all interrelated with the ego and releasing the ego. And that with forgiveness, that's the biggest thing, is that people are so quick to forgive others, but it's sometimes that forgiveness for ourselves that we need to make sure that we participate in, because that's where we're hardest on ourselves. Giving ourselves like that extra love and that forgiveness is so important that we sometimes forget about that. So those were beautiful. I love that. With some of the breath work that you had mentioned, so coming back to the pranayama that you had shared with us, can you give us an example as to how we can use it to our advantage? And maybe is there a specific time of day that we should be doing it at? But basically, to be able to integrate, allowing those 4 tips, using the methodology to also integrate pranayama and how those can be integrated together.
So in the morning, there are 2 specific pranayam which really help relaxing the whole nervous system. That pranayam name is Bhramari pranayam, which is extremely beneficial for our nervous system and for this pandemic also, because you are increasing the lung capacity through the pranayama. Now, what is pranayama? Which is raising the energy level. Prana means energy, the subtle source of life. So you're increasing the energy through the breath. You're controlling the breath from your own. So that is called pranayama. So through the pranayama, you are increasing the subtle force of the energy. You are increasing the pure vibration of the universe from the pranayama. So one is the Brahmari pranayam. The another level is the Shanmukhi pranayam, which is very easy, and it's like a Brahmari pranayam only. So if you want, I can show you one example of the Brahmari pranayam. So you are sitting like this, you have spine erect, gentle smile on your face, keep your index finger on the earlobe, outer self of the earlobe, and you have to gently breathe in, and while exhaling the breath you have to do the humming sound, right? So you have to close your eyes, and let's do it together. Breathe in gently and exhaling. And relax. And gently open your eyes. So this humming sound has creating the subtle vibration in the entire physical self and the entire nervous system. So this pranayam we can practice in the morning before the breakfast, and if you don't have time in the morning, when you're coming back from your work, you can wash your hands and face, and you just sit and do this pranayam. So this pranayam we can do it thrice, three times with a few seconds gap, and we relax between the pranayama. That's very very important. And the another pranayam is called Alom Vilom, and in Sanskrit we call Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, which is an alternate nostril breathing. So you are inhaling from the left nostril and exhaling from the right, inhaling from the right and exhaling from the left. So these are the two most beautiful and most important pranayam in yoga.
And then for the alternate nostril breathing, that, because I also recommend that for younger kids as well, because it's very good for helping with balancing the left brain and the right brain. So that way, even before you're going into work or into school, this is a great way to activate both sides. So for that one, I typically recommend the mornings are usually a great way, or even before sitting down to do some work that you want to focus on. Are there any other benefits that you see to having that left brain and the right brain activated?
Yeah, so when you must have seen some people who are very logical, those who have a less emotional brain active, and some people who are very very emotional and their logic brain is not very functional. So through these pranayam practice, we balance the right and the left brain, and we should you do this alom vilom pranayam in the morning for at least 5 minutes or times this pranayam we should do. Nine breathing pattern we should do in the morning and in the evening. So if you're really tired, if you're feeling anxious, all these pranayams will cure from inside, they generate the good vibes, the happy hormones. So and another two pranayam which is very good for the gut system, and of course it really helps the cleansing the negative emotions, which is Kapalbhati and Bhastrika pranayam. These two pranayams also we should do.
Yes, yes, those are all very important ones. So I guess, is there anything else that you wanted to mention to the listeners and to the viewers? Because I think we've gone over all of the questions that we have. We don't have any questions right now from the Facebook Live side, but otherwise, if there's nothing else that you wanted to add, I wanted to ask you to share with us how people can connect with you, because you do a lot of workshops with corporates as well, different types of retreats. So for anyone that's wanting to reach out to you to understand how they can learn more and more in depth as well, if you'd like to share that with us.
Yeah, so people can go on the website innerwellness.in, and over there all the programs are there and email is there, so they can contact to me through the email, and the phone number is also there on the website. And in this pandemic, I know the difficult situation is there, but with the prayerfulness, with the heartfulness, you can win this situation. That's my message to the viewers. And for the youth, they are working, they are studying online, and they are really pissed off right now because all the time they are sitting at home. So my advice for the youth, they should go for a nature walk at least in the morning or in the evening, preferably for half an hour, because nature is the most important factor. They can heal you, they can clear your unwanted thoughts. And if you don't want to do yoga and pranayam, if you're not interested, go for a nature walk. Sit for some time under the tree. That's my advice for you.
Yes, that's beautiful. Because I think right now everyone has been indoors for far too long, that they need to start going out and breathing in the fresh air that nature has to offer us and enjoying all that. Because, and even just going barefoot on like grass outside or on the sand outside, that's some of the best things that you can go and do for your health and holistic wealth. So thank you. So I will link all of your details below for all of the viewers to be able to reach out to us, and then they can also DM you. So thank you very much, Madhu, for joining us today, and we will see you next time. We'll hopefully do another workshop maybe next month on another topic. So if there's anything else that you'd like to learn about in regards to inner wellness, we'd be more than happy to have Madhu come on again to do another chat with us, and we'll see you guys soon. Namaste. Take care.